the back of the head of the person that's sitting right in front of you.
Yeah. You know, kind of maybe bring a tripod. I don't know.
Bring a tripod. Yeah, some people will tripod.
That would be a good one.
Okay.
I don't remember the other ones.
Okay.
So after all that, what is your favorite rule and or regulation to break, past, present, future, or that you've ever broken, or that you will never break again?
That's a lot of questions.
You can pick one. I said or.
So, I am not a big fan of arbitrary rules, and my definition of arbitrary rules is probably broader than it should be. I consider a lot of things stupid that we all sign up for. Like, why do we have men's and women's bathrooms? Shouldn't we all just share one? Where do we develop these rules and conventions that have absolutely no founding on anything? But I've done a lot of things that other people consider breaking rules. I often do it sort of without thinking, like, oh yeah, of course you could, you know. I got arrested very briefly once for reading on the roof of a bank at midnight. And I climbed up onto the roof of the bank simply because I saw it was like, yeah, there's good street lighting right there. I could just lean up on the wall, up on the top of the roof of the bank and read up there, that'd be great. And then, you know, I got up there and I was reading, and all of a sudden the floodlights came on from adjacent buildings, and I was surrounded by cops. Because obviously people had reported that someone was breaking into the bank. I went for a run in Griffith Park, which is in Los Angeles, and I found myself climbing over a very, very tall chain link fence that also had razor wire at the top, and I was like, why is this fence in the middle of this beautiful park? Here I was on this nice little coyote trail, running and feeling good, and then I come across this fence and that's I'm gonna keep going. So I climbed the fence, came down, and I kept running, and I found that I was actually in the LA Zoo, which I didn't realize. And in the park where like the animals are just walking, like I was in animal enclosures at the LA Zoo and didn't know it. So luckily, it wasn't like there were pigs. I was in with some sort of like wild pigs, which is fine. I was eventually asked to leave. So that sort of stuff happens, and so I like to convey this sentiment a little bit to my children, and so sometimes like I've been making this. We go to the museum a lot, me and the kids, and when we go to the museum, they have so many rules that it's like it's designed to make children feel bad and uncomfortable. Like that's what the museum is trying to convey to children. Like, don't touch that, don't get near that, don't sit. So there's like a concrete wall that's maybe 2 feet tall and 18 inches wide, that's just running along right next to the grass outside. And my daughter goes and sits on it, and the security guy comes up and goes, excuse me, you have to get off that. Why? Why does she have to get off that? I put my kid on my shoulders, on the lawn, at the museum in Blackmount. And now the security guard came up and said, sir, you have to take the child off your shoulders. I said, why? It's a liability, you can't have kids on your shoulders. So, that really made me, those kind of things make me mad, and I convey this to the kids. These are stupid rules. There are rules that make sense, like you shouldn't shoot someone with a gun that has live ammunition. That's a rule that makes sense, and we should follow that. But, if, you know, these stupid museum rules, like, you know what, don't worry about it. If someone tells you not to do that, whatever. Just do it again when they're not looking. Yesterday, we were having breakfast, and my son climbed on the table, and at home we have a pool, and the rule is you don't climb. You don't climb on the fucking table while people are eating. And he said, why not? And I said, because your feet are, you know, your dirty feet walking around. We're eating food. You don't want the dirt from your feet on the table in our food. That's unhealthy. It's gross. And he said, okay. And he went like this, and he picked up his feet. He's like, so how about this? And I was like, no, we don't know. And he said, why not? And I said, just because it's a rule that we have in the house. He said, well, it's a stupid rule, and I'm not going to follow it. it's a tough thing to work with, to find it. I really don't like it. I wish that he would just follow my rules, whether they're arbitrary or not, and not ask questions. But I've done some things that were illegal or whatever.
According to the law.
Yeah, according to the law. But in the end, I felt like it was a cool enough project, or it was something that I was proud enough of. But I don't recommend that you break the law. Don't do it. Not much more, unless it's a stupid law. It's funny that you bring this up because this past fall, I shot a little teaser for a prospective pilot TV show that is about breaking the law. And the idea is just to go around, like there's all these arcane, really truly stupid laws on the books that nobody's ever bothered to take off the books because it's too much of a pain in the butt to change the law. So, like in Massachusetts, men are not allowed to have hair that's more than shoulder length, things like that. It's on the books somewhere, So my idea was, well, I could just go around and break all of these laws and film it and do it kind of flagrantly, like in front of a police officer.
Did you grow your hair out, or did you have a wig?
That would be a wig situation because it takes too much work when you leave your hair out. Anyway, you've touched on it earlier.
Thank you.
Yeah. What? 5 minutes, okay.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Did you guys, I'm going to take a brief aside here and show off Rich and Rob's shirt. And I understand that if you, have you guys all heard the story? Well, it's kind of a very emotional hot point for everybody who works at Creation. I think he was there at the time for all of the cast who were with Rob at that point. It was like this really amazing moment for us to all come together. We were so scared. It was in really, really bad shape. And anyway, and Creation was amazing. There were several volunteers that spent the night in the hospital with him. Yeah, I've teared up many times in the ensuing, almost 2 years now, right? Pretty clearly, I mapped out my mental calendar. Yeah, anyway, so if you get one of these shirts and support that campaign in the next 12 or 13 hours or something like that, then you're gonna be in a drawing to be in a picture with me and Jared and Jensen. So, it's almost like if you do that good thing, then you'll get punished, potentially, by having crushed by me and Jared and Jensen. Sometimes we get rowdy in those photos, and somebody will say something like, "Give me the tightest hug possible." And I'm always like, "Oh, you don't want that." Because Jared will just be like, once in a while you hear just that quiet little crack of a rib. Someone go, as their tongue gets punctured. But yes, anyway, Creation Stand's website, you can get these. And Creation's just been really awesome with this and supporting the charities that the SPN family cares about the most. So if you're gonna get any supernatural swag, get it there instead of Hot Topic or something, because it's also going to support a good cause. We like that. It's good. All right. Hi.
Hi. My dragon and I were wondering if you could be any mythical creature, what would you be?
Her dragon, which she's holding up right there, and her would like to know if I could be any mythical creature, what would it be? But I thought you said miserable creature. Which threw me for a second, and then I figured it out. Wait, what did you say?
I said you would be Mark Shepard.
Is that? But if you could be any miserable creature, what would you be? Unicorn, obviously. It's kind of too easy, that question. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, if you could be any version of Cassidy
getting booed a lot this weekend. Wow, tough crowd. Sorry guys. All right. How's it going? How was backstage? How was the green room?
Awesome.
Good.
Keeping it. It's good.
What were you guys doing?
What are we doing? There's a lot of wrestling.
Wrestling.
No.
What have you been doing? Why are you so sweaty?
I don't know, I got hot. I think I must have gotten nervous at some point. Oh, I know what it was. This child asked me to go to her prom with her, and then the crowd started booing at me because I wasn't immediately agreeing to go. She lives in Miami. It's in May. I'm going to be out of the country. Like, I have a lot of reasons why this is not convenient for me.
I feel
And these guys are like, you should go to the prom.
I feel like Jacksonville is where all the boo happy Floridians live. It's
Good having
I
crowd.
feel like if they had rotten tomatoes, they'd be throwing them, you know.
way to bring that up.
Can we put a pin in this? Can we see how things are going? Would you be okay with maybe finding a backup just in case?
I've never done a
Because I am going to be in Europe at the time, which makes it very hard for me.
Why don't you just bring her to Europe with you?
You don't want to come up here? We could do like a prom honeymoon instead of the prom itself or something. Yeah, it's a good crowd. I like that. They're kind of like
They're with you and against you.
they're with you and against you.
They love you and hate you.
They were like, oh.
I think, Misha, I love the audience participation, and I like when we have celebrities in the house. I think it's fun. I think it's only fair. I'm going to call them out. We got to give a big hello to everybody. Jim Beaver's in the house with us.